Hi, it's Sarah Rose again. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. And today I'd like to talk to you about 3 simple techniques that you can use to help you rewrite your story and really start to manifest a life that you love. And when I say rewrite your story, what I'm referring to is rewriting your life story from this point forward. And this has been a huge personal project of mine, an ongoing project, something that I've really been focused in on the last few years because I really had to challenge myself to focus on what I truly want out of life and not allow myself to focus in anymore on things from my past or past experiences that were, no longer serving me, and just really start to challenge those belief systems that always kept me going back to or thinking about why things had to be the way that they were, or why things were difficult, or why I just wasn't able to necessarily have certain things in my life or be a certain way. I had this conditioning, and we're all going to have this certain level of conditioning that we bring to the table from early childhood. Some of it's on an unconscious level, and some of it's a very conscious level that we're doing on a daily basis that we can really start to take control over and move into a more empowering place. And so there's 3 techniques that have proven to be effective for me on my own personal journey. And I'd like to share those with you right now. The first one is visualization. So just take into consideration for the moment that when you bring yourself into the present moment, you are already in the past, okay? So even if you go into meditation and you bring yourself into this place of stillness, into the present moment, at the time that you realize you're in the present moment, it's already the past. So everything in your surroundings, your current reality, has all been created from past experiences, past habitual patterns, past choices, and your past belief system. So it makes sense that when everything around you has already been a result of past experiences, that you can't really look at, you obviously don't want to look in the past when you're trying to create this new lifestyle for yourself, but it also doesn't make sense for you to even rely as a point of reference on what you're actually physically seeing with your own 2 eyes, because everything that currently exists is coming from past experiences. So the first one, again, is visualization, and that actually just close your 2 physical eyes and go inside and use your mind's eye to visualize the life that you truly want, and visualize your deepest desires, and allow that to be even like a daydream state. Just allow yourself to create and be inspired in a way to where there's no boundaries. It's something completely new that you haven't experienced before, that you're allowing yourself to create in your mind's eye, really visualizing where you see yourself. And the second tip would be monitoring your self-talk, or becoming aware of your self-talk. So it's not only what we're able to see in our visions for ourselves, but also what we're saying to ourselves on a regular basis. So you've probably heard you have 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Where are your thoughts? Are they primarily focused in the past on what has happened in the past that's led you up to this point, trying to justify or make excuses for where you're at now, or even trying to point blame at someone else or even yourself for where you're at now? Belief systems that are limiting you because they're based on something in the past? Or are your thoughts more positively focused, more optimistically focused in the future? There's 2 sides to every coin, so I invite you to be really clear on what side of the coin your thoughts fall on, and consciously bring awareness to that and shift it to the positive side, to the endless opportunity side, to the side that is not hindered by past experience. Over and over and over again. It takes practice. It needs to become habitual, but it's something that over time becomes easier and easier. Okay, so the first one was visualization. The second one was monitoring your self-talk and what you're telling yourself in your own head on a daily basis. And you'll catch yourself doing this when you're driving in the car, when you're brushing your teeth, as soon as you wake up to the time you go to bed. You'll start to pay attention to the scripts that are running in the background of you telling yourself why things are the way that they are, and start to just bring awareness to, again, what side of the coin those fall on, if they fall on the past or if they're open to the future. And then the third one is speaking and telling it like you want it to be, not even like it is. So remember, your current reality is created from an accumulation of all of your old conditioning and all of your old past beliefs and patterns of behavior. So telling it like you want it to be. Tell your story the way you want it to be. And if you can tell your story and feel comfortable with that being your story for the rest of your life, then I would say continue to tell that story. But if you can't picture yourself in that story for the rest of your life, then tell a different story. So really start to bring attention to what is coming out of your mouth and what you're verbalizing to others. And so it doesn't matter whether it's the story you're telling to when you start to talk to and have a normal conversation, just a casual conversation with your neighbor or the grocery store clerk or your banker, or even some of your close friends and loved ones, especially your close friends and loved ones, because they have become very accustomed to hearing your story. And so they have been probably very easy to tell your story too. So you'll find yourself opening up and saying your patterned story over and over again to a lot of the people that you feel most comfortable with. You may not tell that story to a complete stranger. You may try to paint a more optimistic view when you come into somebody that you just met. But when you fall around people that you're more comfortable with, you tend to beat the drum of your old story quite a bit more. So start to pay attention to how you're talking and what kind of story you're telling. And again, make sure it's a story that you would want to live for the rest of your life. And if it's not something that inspires you for the rest, that could inspire you for how you would want to live the rest of your life, then tweak that story until you find something that feels good. And I would say that the only other things I would recommend other than those 3 tips is to sort of be flexible with the outcome, because when you start to put this out there, the universe is going to respond in your highest and best good, which a lot of times, and probably most times, beyond your wildest dreams of what you could conjure up in your own mind and vision for yourself. So I would say, don't pigeonhole yourself into one outcome of how you think your life needs to be or how you think you want your life to be. Have a little flexibility and room there so you're not overly trying to control circumstances that are truly still out of your control. You just be flexible to how things come back to you and be flexible to how the universe responds to your efforts, because you'd be surprised that 9 times out of 10 they're going to respond. They're going to come back to you so much better than you were ever able to visualize it for yourself. And so stay flexible with the outcomes, but also the other tip is to just sort of connect with the feeling. This is sort of key, to connect with the feelings behind what you're telling yourself, what you're saying out loud, and what you're visualizing. Obviously, when you start to visualize something, or when you start to say something, or you start to talk to even yourself about something, if it doesn't feel good, it's not the right story to tell. So keep that as your indicator. Your feelings are your indicator to if you're on track with your highest and best version of yourself. And also, again, stay flexible with the outcome. So I hope you like these 3 tips. I hope you apply them to your own daily practice. And I'd love any comments that you have below, any questions or comments. If you're watching this video anywhere other than my blog, I invite you to go over to sarah-rose.net. There's a lot more information on my blog. I host a mind, body, spirit challenge and coaching program on my blog, and there's actually lots of free goodies, including free meditations, just for signing up for my newsletter. So I invite you to do that. Again, post any questions or find me on Facebook if you have any comments to this video. Again, if you're watching this anywhere other than my blog URL is below, and it's also, I'll just say it, it's also at sarah-rose.net one last time for you. So I invite you to join my blog, join my wellness newsletter, and I hope these tips serve you well. I hope they find you well, and I would just say everything takes practice. So the more you practice it, the better results you're going to get. So I would say try it for a day or two, and then try it for, you'll start to build on this, and try it for a week, and then you'll build on that. And what you're going to uncover is that your negative thought patterns or your old belief patterns are going to start to feel so foreign to you, and you're going to be creating new paths that feel so different that when you slip back into your old patterns and your old ways of thinking that were really hindering you, you're going to feel it. You're going to notice a difference. So you're going to start to shift, and then when you sink back into your old habits, which you will, you're going to be able to recognize them, and you're going to be able to have the tools to help pull yourself back out of that again. So again, I hope that this video serves you well, and I welcome any comments or questions that you have below. Hope to see you next Wednesday for Wellness Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Namaste.